Reporting from Jacksonville Municipal Stadium, this is Gene Frenette, sports columnist for the Florida Times-Union, along with Jaguars beat writer Vito Stellino, after another heartbreaking Jaguars home loss, 26-21 this time to the Pittsburgh Steelers, dealing a crushing blow to the Jaguars' postseason aspirations, especially on a day where the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts did make comebacks in the last minute. There was no last-minute comeback for the Jaguars, and for the fifth consecutive game, they brought a game down right down to crunch time, and for the third time, they came up short. Defense, once again, was not able to get stops. Ben Roethlisberger, the Pittsburgh Steelers' $103 million quarterback, delivered with the 8-yard rainbow pass to Hines Ward in the end zone. But Vito, you just have to wonder if the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be able to keep rebounding from these crushing losses, especially with a defense that just can't seem to get a stop when it matters.
And now they have to go to Denver next week to play a team that scores in bunches, and they can't afford to be 2-4 to bye. That would mean they have to go 8-2 the rest of the way. So this was, as you say, a crushing blow, and it illustrated the Jaguars' problem. They have a good, solid team. They can play with everybody, but they don't have the big playmakers who make those big game-winning plays. Even Garrard was just marveling at Roethlisberger's throw to Hines Ward. You know, he had people hanging all over him, and somehow he stayed upright, got the pass off, and as Garrard said, it was right on the money. It wasn't like a rainbow. He threw it on the money, and it won the game. And also, you got to go back to coaching. How can Jack Del Rio pass up a 51-yard field goal in the third quarter? That's within Scobie's range. They make that field goal. At the end, they only need a field goal to win rather than a touchdown. It changes the whole way they try to put together that last drive. So this was not a good night all around for the Jaguars.
For the Jaguars defense, it was almost kind of a tale of two halves. They give up 300 yards in total offense in the first half, just an astounding number of yardage. The Steelers ran 46 plays to the Jaguars 17 in the first half. But in the second half, the Jaguars went to their base package. Cornerback William James was benched midway through the second quarter because, quite frankly, he could not cover anybody and was really getting repeatedly torched by Nate Washington. And the Jaguars' defense seemed to settle down in the second half. They got 6 consecutive stops on third down, going basically with a base defense, and things seem to be working. But again, I don't know what it is, Vito. I don't know if the pressure gets to them, but sometimes when you see a team going 5 consecutive games and in the last 2 minutes they can't get the other team off the field, well, that's no longer an aberration. That's a disturbing trend. And if you're the Jaguars, there just doesn't seem to be any quick fix in sight.
No, the ironic thing is that beating Pittsburgh last year in the playoffs might not have been a good thing for them. They might be better off losing that game than winning this one, because I think that Pittsburgh playoff victory made them think that they're a better team than they really are. They decided the third and fourth round draft picks could not make their team. They traded away 4 picks for Groves and Harvey, another pick for Williamson. They could use those 5 players right now, or maybe 3 or 4 of them had made the team. And now they're showing some age on their defense, and I think that's one of the reasons why they just seem to get tired at the end of the game. And also the coaching again. Why was William James, who used to be called Will Peterson, why was he starting? Why didn't Brian Williams start? Or why didn't they make that move earlier when they went after him right from the beginning? They waited till that long Nate Washington touchdown pass, and that was too late.
Well, there's certainly going to be a lot of questions this week for Jack Del Rio, and hopefully for Greg Williams too, if we ever get to actually, if the defensive coordinator for the Jaguars actually meets with the media, which is such a rare occurrence. But a lot of questions that have to be answered. And, the Jaguars, their pass rush was a little bit better tonight. They did get 3 sacks tonight, but the problem was they didn't get the sacks when it mattered most. If they could have just put Ben Roethlisberger on the ground one time on that last drive, then the 65,000 fans, or at least most of them, the ones that weren't wearing black and gold, would be celebrating tonight. But as it is, the Jaguars leave here 2-3, and making matters worse, the Tennessee Titans rally today, score a touchdown in the last 2 minutes to win and go to 5-0. The Indianapolis Colts, don't ask me how they managed to come back from a 17-point deficit in the last 5 minutes of the game, but they did. So the problem is the Jaguars, main rivals in their division, are making plays when it matters, and the Jaguars aren't. That trend is going to have to reverse itself, or the Jaguars are going to be spending a long, long off season wondering how this season became so unraveled. Reporting from Jacksonville Municipal Stadium for Jacksonville.com, this is Gene Frenette and Vito Stellino.